Hey y'all, this is Jessica with Bless Your Heart. Let's do a Crackle Fall Peekaboo tumbler today. We're going to start with a 20-ounce skinny that I have prepped and spray painted with this metallic gold from Rust-Oleum. And we're going to use the Epoxy Method today. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of Flynn Sisters Fast Set, and I'm going to get ready for glitter. My glitter choices today are going to be Feather Bear Bling, It's Fall Y'all, and District 12. Now she is no longer selling glitter, but you can score some on some D-stash groups. I'm going to go full coverage, top to bottom and side to side with both of these glitters. And I just want you to take a moment to look at that magnificent shine and reflectiveness. These are some beautiful glitters if you can ever get your hands on them. Once I'm done with my chunky, I'm going to go in with the finer cut of this exact same tone, and basically all I'm doing is going in and filling in any glitter potholes that are left, and we're going to end up with this beautifully covered cup. Once I'm done glittering, I am going to go in and lay all this glitter down as flat as possible, and that's just going to help with our epoxy process not having so many layers. After this epoxy layer dries, I am going to get another layer of epoxy on. I'm going to do a very light sanding, and then I'm going to get ready for our stencil work. These are leaves just from Creative Fabrica that I have cut out on Aura Mask stencil vinyl, and I'm just going to place them here and there until I'm happy with what that looks like. Once I'm happy with all of my stencil placement, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use just a Crackle Medium. This is just the easiest way for me to do it. I know there's other ways. You do what you like to do. I'm going to make sure that I've got all of these pressed down nice and firm, and I'm going to put a good hefty coat of this Crackle Medium over the entire tumbler. You do want to use kind of a fluffy brush to make sure that you don't have any of those marks, just like with anything else when we paint on a tumbler. Once you get all of that medium painted on, you just want to put your cup to the side and let it completely dry, and you're going to get ready to add the paint. For the paint, I just dumped a bunch into my little medicine cup, and you want to load your brush up really good, and you want to do one swipe one way. If you have to go back and kind of fill in a little area, you kind of want to dot it on instead of doing a whole nother sweeping motion. That's going to give you a little bit of a texture, like a roughness to it, to kind of go along with the crackle, but you do not want to go up and down, back and forth with your paint. And the more you can get on in one swipe, the better the crackle is going to turn out. Once you're done loading your cup up with paint, you want to set it to the side and let it dry completely. Now that we're dry, let's go in and pull up all of our stencil pieces. You do want to be a little bit careful because all of this stuff that we've put on top of these stencil pieces have now dried, and so there is a good probability that we will pull some of that paint and Crackle Medium up. But I think that's just going to kind of add to the weathered look. So you want to go piece by piece, pull it all up, and we're going to move on to the next step. As you can see, we do have some of those places where the paint peeled up extra, and that's okay. So what I'm doing now is going in and purposely peeling up little bits of extra paint all over the cup. This is just going to add to the weatheredness look, I guess, of the crackle. Whenever you do a crackle, you don't want it to be perfect. You want it to look like it is worn and ragged and has been gnawed on. So we're just going to pull up a little paint here and there, and we're going to add to that weathered look. Once I get enough little pieces of paint up that I'm happy with how it looks, I do go in and coat it with a really good coat of polycrylic. This time for my outlines, I'm going to go in and use transfer tape. In the last video, I did not use transfer tape, so this one we are, just so we can see the difference. So when I use transfer tape, it does not go on perfect, but I don't want it to in this instant. So if you need something very precise, I personally take the whole outline off in one fell swoop. If I like for it to be a little off kilter and a little jagged looking, then I use the transfer tape. But I am taking a little cheater method, and I'm using a piece of parchment between the actual vinyl and the cup until I'm happy with what it looks like. So I did go in and cut a little bit more leaves, and I sized them down quite a bit. And I'm just going to pop a few on here and there. Not going to overload this cup with anything, but we're just going to add a little something different. Once I'm happy with all that vinyl work, I am going to go in and do a couple of layers of polycrylic. I don't want this vinyl moving at all. And once I get that done, let that dry, I'm going to epoxy this entire tumbler until smooth. And here we go. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.